Alright, so we are live on YouTube as well. Downtrend. Yeah, we're on the 2 minute. You got to remember on each trend, right? You're gonna have your primary, your secondary, and your minor too. So at the end of the day, what I was zoomed in on that 2 minute, yes, we do have that downtrend, but we do have a higher low that we've created from here. So don't lose focus of the bigger picture. When you're scalping it, it's important to know the current trend, but it's also extremely important to know what the larger trend is, right? Because you want to watch that because that's where you're going to get these big bounces here, which will get you caught. So, but I mean, you can. It depends on what you're doing, right? Trading, investing, or whatever. I mean, at the grand scheme of things, right? We're still in that uptrend, higher low from here, right? But we've yet to create a higher high from there, which would be the all-time high. So doesn't surprise me. So we just had a nice drop. So I'm guessing that the data came out bearish as anticipated. Let's see. Let me refresh. Yeah, it rose 0.6. So we should be at 3.8, which I think that was, I believe, what the expectation was. Anytime the news comes out with the expectation, keep in mind, guys, it's typically priced in. So you're going to have a up, down, tip, probably in this case, a down, up, down, up. Actually, it came out 3.7. The expectation was 3.6. So we came out slightly more bearish, which is why we had that initial push. So we'll talk about that. While this news settles out, a key area that is going to be big for this here is going to be this line right here, right? So 443.91 because we had prior support. If the news can't break that, we could easily have a press down. This could be our new range, and then find support again. We still create a higher low. Now, however, if we actually come all the way down because of that news being a little bit more on the bearish side, then the key area you're going to want to watch is this low here, because if we create a lower low from this side, it's all in trouble. So let's take a look at the 1 hour while this thing's bouncing all over the place. Keep in mind, guys, there's a lot of really rich people that don't trade other than news. And so the volume is going to be insane. So it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to do it in big ways. Most of the time, the price, it's already priced in, right? I mean, we've already had a fall from 459 all the way down, then we pump back up to 454 or so, and we've already dropped $9 on that. So that point 3.6 was already priced in. So the key is that extra 0.1 enough to send it down, right? So if you zoom out on the 1 hour and you look on this, we do have our low here. We have our higher low. My anticipation has been for some time that we're going to come into this area here. This news could be what sends it to there, right? Doesn't mean that we're crashing to the floor. It just means simply that we are still in a healthy pullback. So even with the news. So my anticipation for today is going to be pretty simple. This is how I'm going to trade it. If I hold above this 442.84 and I continue to get support bounces, then I'm going to take some calls, right? Because we're holding that higher low. However, the flip side is what you got to really watch on the 1 hour. This is going to be the key area right here, right? And you can see we're already kind of bouncing. This 1 hour 21 EMA on the 200. If we stay below these candles or below these EMAs and SMA, then we're just going to get a bounce, and it's going to be another rejection, right? Probably pretty hard because of the news. However, even with the news being slightly bad, if we can break above these, which would be 446.50 or 60 or so, probably another dollar movement up. If we can somehow break above that on market open, then it actually is going to push north, as weird as that sounds. So for me, I'll probably keep a simple rule of if I'm below 446.36 or so, I'll probably take puts. But I'm not going to. I get so many emails and side messages, guys. The news was bearish. The side messages, because people will say that they took a put and like, oh well, you mentioned only taking puts. Again, I'm going to reiterate, when I say I'm only taking puts, I'm not saying that the market opens and I'm just taking a put. We're not just going in blindly, guys. When we say we're only taking puts or we're only taking calls, you only want to take those on pumps or some kind of pullbacks, right? So let's play this out. If this were to be something that I would say only take a put, right? So if I only take a put below this line, that means that I want to see it come up to this line, show some bearishness, right? Some double top, lots of rejection, maybe the RSI get a little overbought, something to show me, hey, it's ready to enter, right? Then you take the put. What you don't want to do is, I get people so many times, the market will trap people. It's going to dump because of the news. It gets to here, knowing that there's known support right here, right? And somebody enters a put, and then it does this, and it comes right back. And then they go, man, I got trapped in this put. And it's like, well, when did you enter? Oh, I entered this right here on the news. Why did we chase the candle, right? And we entered right on support. If you want to enter on a continuation, what you want to do is you want to wait until this comes down below this. I would have it come down like this, reject off of that, come down below this to create that lower low. Then on the rejection, when you start to see this, that's when you would potentially enter that scalp for that continuation. But you can see the bounce that we're already getting. So that's kind of how you want to play that, right? And so again, even though we have some bearish news, it drove it down. We'll see how the market open reacts. We may push north a little bit, and then market might open and say, man, I'm going a little deeper into this, guys, just to help you out, because I have been on the bad side of this when I was learning how to trade. This is a situation where people anticipate, everything comes back to technicals, right? The news is what you can't control, and the news is what could push it past a certain resistance or certain support where the technicals will come into play. Yeah, exactly, T-Nuck. So this is where people, and I've gotten caught. But you guys know in the community, I mean, you guys can back me up. I'm very transparent in what I do and what I get caught and how I learned, right? I learned the hard way, just like most people who trade. And so this is a case where normally people don't know how to trade the news. They would come in and they would say, okay, the expectation was 3.6, 3.7. Oh my gosh, enter a put. Just enter a put. It's bearish. It's super bearish. But on the flip side, people anticipate that bearish news is going to break this level of support. If it can, that's going to push us super south. But if it can't, right, now people flip that in their mind and they say, okay, well, the news was bearish. It was bad. But it wasn't bad enough for the investors to see it as bearish, right? Enough to push it past that support. So now guess what happens? It flips people into bullish, because they go, well, shoot, if that bad of news can't push us into a lower low than this is what I was talking about not that long ago, right at 8:30. People flip, and it's literally happened right in front of our eyes, guys. I mean, we can't trade it right now because it's the market, but as that were to drop, once I start to see that support start to grow, right, I'm thinking more call than put, which is going to be funny because back in the day, I would have thought more put. But now think about it. If the market was open, how many people would have saw that drop, entered right here, and then now you'd be trapped? And it's news. We could go down just as fast as we went up right now. I mean, literally, the worst thing you can do when you're trading news is to chase candles. It is the worst thing, because we could literally drop down here, pump back up here, and then drop back down here, all in a matter of like 20 minutes. I mean, or less. I've seen it. It's crazy. So don't chase candles. Don't second guess yourself. This is where, for those of you guys that are new to the channel, you guys are new to what we do. We have automation, right? We have our live trader that we do, and it takes the emotion out, right? So you set your ranges, and you just let the thing trade. This thing is amazing for news when the markets are open during the news, because you literally set your level based on the resistance and supports, right? And then if it gets there, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The reason why people get wrecked on news is because you get too emotional, and what happens is we'll go to like the 1 minute or something, and so what happens is this happens, and then people go, oh man, we're tanking, right? The news is bearish. They enter here, then they put their stop loss up right above here. So now you're negative. Guess what? Boom, you just got stopped out. Then guess what's going to happen? It's going to go right back down. and then you're going to sit there and go, oh man, I would have made $1,000 if I didn't get stopped out, right? It happens every news event. There's 100% an intentional reason why this created a higher high than this. It's because people knew that people would get stopped out, right? Now, if you think about it, it could also work in reverse, and this is why if you look back and do your due diligence on studying, right? If you look back on news, there's always a dump, a pump, a dump, a pump. They're clearing liquidity because all these nerds here that took calls or longs right here, right? They're likely set their stop loss down here. So there's a chance that we could get one more wick right here, stops all those guys out. Now look at that. They just made tons of money, cleared so much liquidity, it's not even funny. And then the true trend happens. It always does this, guys. And don't get caught. I'm going to spend extra time on this because this is important to learn how to trade the news, right? Don't get caught too much on the trend until the trend is established. And what do I mean by that? So typically a news event is going to do this. We'll just use this as an example because it's already happened. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. Then it's going to go up. Then it's going to come back down, right? Like this. Then it's going to have its explosive. I'm just hypothetically. That's not what I think it's going to have. It's going to have. I know the market's closed, so nobody's trading this. And then it's going to have its explosive move. So let's actually do this a little bit different. Let's do it. I don't like that. Okay, so let's anticipate that this goes down, pumps up, creates a higher low, and then has an explosive candle like that, right? Everybody in their puts right here is basically crapping themselves, going, oh my gosh, I'm like going to, why didn't it drop? Like, I don't understand it. The news is bearish, blah, blah, blah. But then what'll happen is at the end of the, by the end of the day or by tomorrow, I'm just going to do it for the sake of time here. You're going to see it start to find its resistance. And then now the trend starts to show. You're going to see the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high. And it's going to basically slowly work its way back to the range where it was before. So you're going to see the dump, the pump, right? The dump, the pump, and then the trend back to consolidation. It happens every time. And it could happen the reverse way, right? We could eventually, this news could just take some time to clear out all the buyers, and then we actually dump, right? Like we talked about, right? Dump back down here, and then it could have a hard dump even down to 442 at market open, right? Because of the news. Then it's going to slowly work its trend back north. And so the reason why I share that is, I'll do it in video, just give me a second. The reason why I share that is because a lot of people, they chase these candles and then they freak out, or what they do is they'll chase the candle all the way down thinking we're just falling to the floor, and then they get a big pump or a trend reversal, and now they're caught, and then you're caught in a 442 put when we're all the way back up at 448, and you're screwed. Like, your trade's hosed. So little insight on some news. I hope that helps y'all out on how to trade the news. With that, if you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, I'm going to move on to the normal huddle part of it. And you can see the pullback. It's happening literally right in front of our eyes, right? And so the key area on this pullback, let's get into the TA part of it, right? Obviously, we have some time before the market opens, so let's talk about some key levels where we want to watch when the market opens. So if you zoom out to the 1 hour, like y'all know I love, you can see that little bit of a push that we just had up here, 446.40, was a rejection off the 21 SMA. We actually broke the 200, made the 21 slightly, but remember we just talked about this is that death cross you got to watch out for. If we cannot flip this, you would it's going to be in trouble, right? We're going to keep pushing down into to a squeeze, and there's some more room to go down on the RSI, so we definitely have some room. So it's a high probability, right, that the market opens because of the way the news is that we could push all the way down to the 443.92, gain some support, and then flip back up, right, over the next day or two. It's really going to depend on how we open today, if we flip this 200 EMA or if we stay below it. So I would not take any calls unless we get back above 446.40 and hold support. Don't just chase the wick, right? The other way that I will set my calls, and we'll do this on the live trader. The other way that I would set my calls is if we find some support, right? Now, because we have news, I don't know that I want to set a call too soon, right? On a pump, right? Because the news was bearish. This is where you want to take into consideration when setting up the range, right? You want to set up the range where you have a little bit of room, because the news overall being bearish, right, we might blow right through this. So I would probably set my call down lower to this range here. So so I'm just going to modify some of the positions that I had on there on my live trader. So we'll probably do like 443.20. It may not get there, right? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. So this was the day yesterday, guys. We took the put here. This one was amazing. This was a big win. Did take a call here. We did get stuck in this call, which is so annoying because it was by like pennies, right? I had anticipated we'd have enough room to move back up to here. It didn't quite make it, right? And it flipped on it. But the good news is we had that call, or the put, really close to it. So this put came down and protected it with the TP3. So we had a big earning with that one. And then we just had a nice little scalp at the end of the day that it picked me up and got me out of. So I think some people said that theirs didn't close on here. If it didn't, you might be okay, because the news is bearish, right? So you're going to get probably a little bit more from it. I'm not too concerned about this one because we've earned quite a bit yesterday, and so it won't take hard. I mean, between today and tomorrow, I mean, to earn back from that while we flip, and there's still that chance we could flip back north, guys. So I mean, it's not set in stone yet. So we're gonna just set our range here on the live trader. So we said 440. I'm gonna do 443.20 for my call. Remember, always change your days. We gotta change the date. 443.20. And then I'm gonna want to delete all my alerts except for the call on 448. And so any puts I can delete because I'm out of them. So I'm gonna delete all my put alerts. And then 448.3, that's the one we don't want to delete. Okay. Because that one's still in trade. Somebody did that the other day. They deleted the alert, redid a bunch of stuff, and it kind of messed it up. So if it's still in that trade, you don't touch it. You don't change the days. You don't touch nothing. Just leave it. So we got this call set up. So let's go ahead and set that alert, and then let's take a look at the puts. So the puts, really, I mean, anything off of this 200 EMA is going to be probably pretty good. Let's go to like the 15. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I think anything around 446, 446.30, I think is gonna be my first put range I'm gonna take. That's gonna be the one I like. All right. $446.30. All right, and then we're gonna do this 2 days. Got the settings up. I'm gonna do one trade only, just because it's news. I don't want it to keep hitting the range. I want to be able to anticipate that. So I'm going to create that. All right, good deal. I don't know that I want to do a continuation put, guys. If I do, it's going to be pretty low, just to protect that call that we did. I'd probably say like 442.50. So it's not likely it's going to hit it unless we break all those ranges, but that's okay. So we'll just change this to 442.50. Okay. Good deal. And I don't need this last put. So this last put, actually, it's funny. Remember, those of you guys in the room, you guys know when we added that. It actually played out really well. So I'll take it. So we still have two closes back here for some reason. So let's double check the dates because you want to make sure all of them. Yeah. Okay. This last one I didn't change the date. I'll say you should only have one because I only have one trade that's still open. So once you're done resetting your stuff, right, you should only see the one that you have potentially open. Is all you want to do. So bullish or bearish on SPY. Hawk Trade. If you want to check out the YouTube ATA_trader. We'd actually covered all that on the news, and actually a lot of informative stuff on how to trade the news, guys. So short answer is the news was bullish, but the news was bearish, but it had a bullish bounce. So could be a false bearish, so we'll see. I already set the levels, so just check out ATA_trader in YouTube, or go to botjock.com in our community channel, and you can watch it backwards. So I'm going to jump on. I don't know if you guys are all still here that asked about the stuff earlier, but today's just a little bit of a different day, guys. So I had to do a little more coverage on that because of the news. So I'll pull up NVIDIA here. You can see just the thing that stands out with NVIDIA for me is you did have a breakdown here. We did have a retest of support. The only thing that's interesting to me about NVIDIA, right? Normally this looks fairly bearish. You have the trend line, right, which it's below currently. The only thing that I see though that would make me hesitate from entering a put is the fact that we have just crazy bullish divergence. So you can see we have 1, 2, well, really, let's do it this way: 1, 2, 3 higher lows, and you have 1, 2, 3 lower or equal lows, right? Equal is still going to be that divergence. So NVIDIA's got, it's got bullish divergence, but some of the technicals that's behind is showing bearish. So we have room to drop. The divergence hunter is red. I wouldn't say enter a call on this divergence quite yet until this flips green. Our harmonic tracker had us in a short on the 1 hour, still hasn't even called along on that. So we have a little bearish harmonics, but you also have a little bit of bullish harmonics. So it's getting to, when I see that stuff, guys, that's when I always start to think, okay, you want to be maybe careful on your puts because we might be finding some early support right somewhere. So then I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, okay, well, we had prior support at 441, all through here. Yeah, 441, 430, yeah, between 440 and 441 is going to be really good support. So if we break to that, we could get about, that could be the divergence bullishness that it needs. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to take calls on the FOMO for NVIDIA, you're a little too late on that. Your best thing to do is either wait for it to actually hold some true support, or you got to at least flip the 21 SMA, which is it's literally right at it. It's just below it actually. So for me, if I can break above 449 on NVIDIA, maybe 450, and begin to hold support, right, then I'm okay to take a call. But I want to see some support because of the divergence. Divergence always plays out. It's just a matter of time. So, but again, news is news, right? So just be careful. But I hope that helps you on the new NVIDIA. I don't know if the person would ask for QQQ, if y'all still here. If you are, ask again, and I'll be happy to take a look at it, because QQQ is not a normal one I look at. I wanted to look at Apple briefly. The reason is because we did have a pullback, right, on Apple. And it's interesting because people, we were talking yesterday that they have the announcement of the release of the 15, right? And so you would think that's bullish, right? But actually, it's more, you're going to have a bearishness before the bullishness, if that makes sense. So that doesn't surprise me that we dropped. If you look at the technicals, let's mute the harmonic tracker pro. So if you look at the technicals, for me, if I'm trading Apple, guys, if you want to try to trade this news from that release, I'm gonna draw just an upper, just like I always do. I'm gonna draw a lower, right? Just try to box this sucker in, right? You can pull from here, or you can pull from the wick right there. I'll probably start with the wick here. This is probably a better support because you are getting some bounce from there. But this is your box in. If you break below here, right, I wouldn't take a call because there's a chance that we're going to create that lower low. However, if we continue to hold this as support, and we can flip, at least this 200 on around 181 or so, ride that wave up. I mean, currently right now we have our low and we have a higher low, right? So if the news being bullish, just not bullish yet, right? If it holds support here, people between the release plus this, they're gonna find that bullish, and that's when it's gonna pop back up. So I did get that QQQ second request. So let me throw it up here. I trade the SPY 1,000 times more than the QQQ, so I don't really do a lot of the TA on the QQQ. I need to save a chart though, because I literally just did it yesterday, and now all my stuff's not here, I think, unless I deleted it. But guys, part of what you'll find on my channel and with Bajak, I can sit here and just look at it and tell you, hey, if it's this, take a call, or this, take a put, and that's what sometimes people want. But I would rather just show you how I box it in, like how I'm going to trade it for the day, right? I mean, and so what I'm going to do is, you're always going to want to, on the 1 hour, you want to try to find your upper, right? So I would just take you only need 2 peaks. You just find your, most common upper that you can do. And then find your most common lower, right? You got your 2 peaks there. So now I'm boxed in on the 1 hour. This is literally how I trade a lot of my stuff. And then the second thing I'm looking at is the EMAs. So we are literally right at the 200 EMA. We're slightly above it, actually, on the 1 hour. And so if you think about it, right, the 21 is above the 200, which you want to be careful taking puts when this is above it. But as long as the candles stay above the 200, which is like 337, you're likely to get a push to 337, my dyslexia kicking in. 373, you're likely to get a push to the 21 SMA, which is going to be 373.92. If you want to take a call, and you're not in a call right now, I would wait till it flips this SMA. I wouldn't take it until 374 or above, because otherwise it's such strong resistance, right? Now, if you want to take a put, I would not take a put unless we actually break below this 200 EMA. And you don't want to have things like this, these bullish candle bounces. You don't want those. If you're trying to take a put, those are dangerous, right? I mean, look at this. The people will consider this in the market. Look how fast that dropped, but it reclaimed it like super quick. I mean, it literally reclaimed that candle, right? With a trend with ease. Now, so if it breaks this, right, it's going to run. So now on the flip side is you do have bearish divergence, right? So you have your high, your lower high, and you have another lower high, whereas you have equal price action, or here you actually have higher, right? I mean, look at look at how the difference is from here to here, and look at the drop. I mean, that's just crazy, right? It was news, but so divergence always ends up winning in the short term, but this is the 2 minute, right? So it is the short term. Indicator called, the short, the long, and then it has a short here. This I usually don't take. I take it with a grain of salt because it's news, right? News is always going to throw off the TA part of it. But here's our zone tracker stuff, all of our order blocks, tons of support from 370, to 372. So lots of bounces you're going to get in there. So I usually pull out and I try to see what that support was. I teach people, I tell them support is, I mean, it's easy to find support, but you don't want to just find support. You want to find support that does this, right? That explodes the candles. That's the support. I mean, you can sit here and say, oh, well, I have heavy support in here. And you do, right? I mean, it just has support, lost it, reclaimed it. I mean, this is support, but those aren't the supports you want to trade, right? You want to try to find this, right? Where the 21 crossed the 200, you got it, nice retest, it reclaimed it, boom, you got some volume, right? That's what you want to find. You want those big moves. But you can see, right? You started to see the divergence here play out, and look what happened. Bam, that's how we trade it. So you can see our indicator caught it right there. Actually, it turned red on the divergence hunter. So you have the three strong bearish divergences on this. It caught it actually on this candle here. So the moment you got this candle close and this candle retest rejection, bam, that's a scalp. That's how we trade. That's how we scalp in the room. So but yeah, that's how I box it in, guys. And then just look at the EMAs, and then from there, just trust the indicators. Zooming out on the 1 hour, like I said, we're still red on it. It hasn't flipped green for the 1 hour. There's room it can go down for sure. So I would use that, the 200 EMA on the 1 hour as your guidance, whether to say call or put today through the news. But hope that helps. Change this back to Apple. I might just add QQQ to my chart. A lot more people are starting to ask about it, so I might add that. Good deal, guys. So let's see how the SPY is doing. Yeah, SPY. See, again, we had another. You see that we talked about on the 200, right? So it just had a rejection off the 15-minute. Let's go back to the 1 hour. Yeah, that same spot right here is. So it actually rejected off of this twice. So this, again, we got to flip this. If market open flips this, man, we're running north. But if market open closes, but down in this area, right, then we're gonna have a drop and we're pulling back to here. So if y'all want to, we adjust the ranges as we trade in the room, so you guys can always come in and play those ranges. So let's look at the dollar. Let's see what the dollar did real quick. Not really a whole lot, honestly, with the CPI data. I mean, look at it. We had a pump, we had a dump, and it's just kind of chilling. It's literally didn't even pump out of its range. 104.65. Interesting. But the one thing I'll say about the dollar, which is why it might be causing us to push north a little bit, potentially, is see how it's starting to drop. So it had the news where we dropped, we pumped, now we dropped, but we're also below that 200 now on the 1 hour. So now it did call along, but again, I don't trust those ones during news because of the move there. Intel's one I haven't. I don't think I've had that request for a while. So what I'm gonna do is I will do Intel. Give me one moment. I'm gonna end the community community huddle. I'll see you guys in the room, and then stick around on TikTok. I'll do that. I'll do a few extra requests for you guys, but I will see you guys in the community in the room here in about 15 minutes.